Are we going? I think we're going. Yes, it does in fact look like we are going. What is up, everybody? Wait, is this... It's not showing us actually streaming over on the YouTube. There we go. All right, we're good now. Sorry. Just a little bit paranoid. Luke had to step downstairs because it is, in fact, coffee hour. I've got mine here, made a brown sugar vanilla latte, essentially, with my AeroPress. I think Luke's got some coffee going on the Keurig downstairs. So he'll be back in just a moment. But welcome, one and all, to this is now the week 27 of 34 recap show. I'm looking ahead. We've got 7 weeks left. So we are officially the short rows, the last 20% or so of the season. It's gone by fast, but I'd say overall it's been a good ride. So what's going on, Luke?
So,
welcome to the party. Yeah, I guess we can. Where do you want to start? Talk about the season last week. Look ahead. What you thinking?
let's talk about last week. Get that over with.
Yeah. Last week was a little bit of a weird one. Lanes felt slightly touchy to start, I think, overall. And I mean, Noah didn't bowl the greatest game, but I didn't bowl 152 bad by any stretch either, I felt like.
Yeah.
He was just kind of trying to catch up to it. We were on 11 and 12, which historically can be a little bit kind of weirdly like wiggly and tight down lane relative to the rest of the house. And I think we kind of saw that on the fresh a little bit. So Noah did not have the best of nights, but I mean, realistically, he never had. It didn't feel like he ever had a whole lot of anything to throw at, honestly. So those nights happen. I think he mentioned he had been traveling some earlier in the week, so he might have been catching up a little bit from that as well. So, it is what it is. Jim Kent, I was thinking about this morning, actually. I think he averaged like 240 against us this year. For the 2 times we bowled him, because he shot like a really high 690 and then a 720. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to have a talk with him about that nonsense. That can't keep happening. Kenny was throwing a Summit Peak, I think, all night, which looked great on the fresh, and then he just kind of lanes got weird, and then they really blew open game 3, and I think he just kind of was so far behind it that he couldn't catch up. Was kind of my impression.
Yeah, that was super. I mean, there were so many Brooklyns that last game.
Yeah.
That it just didn't even make any sense.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, go ahead.
I am starting a petition to rename Brooklyns to Booglyns.
Tell me where to sign, and I am in. So.
Yep.
If it's good enough to win a PBA title, it's good enough for me.
Yeah. Or going with Billy at the beginning of the season, we could call them O-Booglyns. I mean,
didn't see that one coming, but yes, you were not wrong. Bess, I think, Mike Bess, I think, kind of cycled through pretty much every ball he had with him game 1.
Yeah.
And then he finally found, I think he threw a fatal venom when he shot the 230, and I was like, why do you have to find the good ball reaction? But
and he even told me before that second game, he's like, I have gone 150, 300 before. And so he called his shot, and then he had like the front 7.
He did warn you.
Yeah.
But and then Bo just was never really all that comfortable last night. I think he was kind of trapped into doing some things with his hand that he's not with his hand. God, I can't talk. That he's not like super duper comfortable with, I guess, for lack of a better term. And so that, and just like he doesn't bowl a ton outside of this league. So, a little bit of a slow start for him. Really solid game 2 for him. And then game 3, kind of the same transition that caught him, that caught everybody else on the right side on the pair, it felt like.
Yeah.
So, and then I guess kind of saving us for last. It honestly, like from an outsider's perspective, it felt like you bowled both a lot more and a little bit less than 617 at the same time. was talking with Ilpad, one of the mods of your Discord server, earlier this week, and I was like, yeah, Luke's good shots look amazing, but it's just kind of, at least from where I'm sitting, and I don't know if this is actually a correct read or not, but it's almost like your shot to shot consistency is kind of up and down, I guess, for lack of a better term. And I think that might have been what kind of got you last night or last week.
Yeah, I mean, I was just that's all fixed now, so I'm 700 or bust tonight.
Yes.
I would bet money on that.
Ooh, wait, crap! My team's bowling against your team in Panda Pack League. Ah,
Yeah, I would bet money against, at least if it's
gum.
not 700, it's not going to be 620 or 630.
Okay,
You
that's
know,
fair.
I've thought before I've gone out and practiced or filmed or whatever else, and thought, well, I kind of got something figured out, but it's more or less you bowl for a couple hours, you end up getting comfortable, and shot after shot after shot.
Yeah,
I figured something out, right? It's something. It's getting back to a feel from a little bit earlier in the season. It just my feet got too fast, and then that just took everything else out of whack. And so it was something very identifiable and predictable, rather than just, oh, okay, well, this feels good again.
okay.
Now I have.
So is your feet that you figured out was kind of the main thing?
I have some things identified that are predictable and I actually went back and forth. So once I figured it out, I'm like, well, I think I had this figured out, but if it's just the feel showed up for a few shots and it disappeared, because that's what happened. That's what's happened for the last couple months is, well, the feel will show up or everything will just kind of accidentally work together for a few shots and then frickin' disappear when I have to move or change something or whatever else. And so I played around with it a little bit to see just exactly what it was, or to figure out something mechanical for it, rather than, okay, well, this is what I'm doing on the good shots. This is what I'm not doing on the bad shots.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it was just a tempo. It was just a tempo thing.
Yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense.
And so, yeah, last week I was faking it. I missed a lot of spares, a lot of easy spares. I missed a 6-pin and a 10-pin that first game. And those are just, okay, 7 pins.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You hooked past both of them out of nowhere, it felt like.
Yeah, seven pins, whatever. But a 6-pin should get the vast majority of those, even though it's on the left side. Should get or a 4-pin should get the vast majority of those, and then shouldn't ever miss a 10-pin on a house shot. That's just completely inexcusable.
Yeah, it is what it is.
But didn't have the feel. I definitely will be better tonight. But yeah, I missed. I think I was like 3 for 7 on 7 pins, and then missed a 4-pin and a 10-pin. So again, like you were saying, that's pretty well exactly it. It could have been better, but it could have been worse. It was just, everything was an accident one way or the other.
Even the strikes were accidental.
Yeah.
So you Mr. Bean your way into a 617 is what you're telling me.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, I can kind of relate to that. I know, obviously, on paper it looks like an amazing night, but I mean, I went over and was joking with actually Mike and Matt from the team we're bowling tonight, and I asked them, I was like, at what point am I supposed to literally go and apologize to my opposition for the scores I'm putting up from how bad I'm throwing it? Because I genuinely think that might have been one of the worst 238s I've ever bowled in my entire life. Game 1 last week, I was just, my tempo wasn't there. My back was a little tight. And when the swing timing gets out of whack like that for me, then I end up spraying it. And I mean, I think I hit about this, probably 10 boards worth of area at the break point in one game, which is, they managed to hit all 10 of those boards, which is honestly, like, I should probably get a patch for that if I'm thinking about it and being totally realistic, because hitting 10 different breakpoint boards in 10 shots is pretty impressive.
Oh, yeah, because we had that thing in the first game where everybody was like, the back ends were a little soft.
Yeah.
And so everybody left, like, I think I went strike 7-pin, strike 7-pin.
Yeah.
Kenny went a 10-pin, spare 10-pin.
Yeah. I went strike 10-pin, strike 3-6, and then I think I threw a 4-bagger that may have included either a roll 2-pin or a Brooklyn or something like that. I know it was like, I still, and then I actually threw a decent one and stuffed a 9-pin in the 9th frame, which makes sense. But yeah, it was one of those just kind of like, can I like throw 2 decent shots in a row? And it was like, it was almost like I couldn't make eye contact with Bo, because it was like, sorry, man, I'm not bowling a good game here right now, and running away with it. So I figured that out, and then felt like I actually threw it pretty dang well the last two games. 279 game two. I was throwing the 3.0 to start, and then game three was a little weird. So I threw my theorem on my game two fill, and it looked pretty good, but it didn't look like it was quite there. And so I was talking with you at the start of game three, and I'm turning 517, I think. And so it's like, if I'm gonna get to 800, I either need spare 10 bagger or front 10. And so it's like whatever I do kind of has to stick. And my 3.0 had looked so good that it was just kind of I guess I just ride with it. And I opted to ride with it, and I went, let's see, what was it? Strike 3, 4, 7, 9, 10. Somehow sent the 3 around the 7, didn't hit it. And ball didn't get the 9 either, so I got strike 5-3. And then I'm like, okay, I just got it to the track a little early. Let me kind of nudge a bit off of that. And I actually threw a pretty good one and left a 4-6.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, it's like, okay, I missed a big move. And so at that point, and especially with Kenny, Mike, and Bo on the other team, it was kind of okay, let's, we knew the track was going to get pretty beaten up with those three guys all together on Bo's team. And so it was kind of okay, maybe it's just time to get away from the track and kind of see the lanes a little differently. And so I just instantly went another 5 left and grabbed my theorem and just kind of backed off the speed a half a notch. Just kind of a little bit of a callback to a couple of weeks ago where I went 270, 190. But I just, kind of tried to make sure that I wasn't getting my theorem too far down the lane. So I was a little more rolling and forward with my hand, and threw a 6 bagger. And then I think, I stuffed another 9 pin on my first shot of the 10th. And I had 35 in the third and got out of it with 220. So I kind of viewed that as a pretty big win. And, overall, survived game 1 and then 2. Honestly, I felt like really solid games after that. So I was pretty happy with it, and honestly planning on just running that back tonight.
Mm-hmm.
My general plan. So as far as the team side of things goes, really, really close all 3 games, actually. Obviously lost the first game by 8. Second game lost by 36, and then won by 29 the last game. So we didn't quite run them down for total, but even though we are having a little bit of a rougher go of it this half than the first half, we're not losing big very much. And I think that's kind of helping us to at least stay somewhat in contention, I guess, for lack of a better term. And so let's see, where are we? Okay. Yeah. So we dropped 1 spot. So we were in 9th after going into last week, and then after last week, fell from 9th to 10th, as well as I think looks like actually we managed to pretty much stay even with the leaders. So we're right about a week out of first still. Okay. But realistically too, there's 9 teams to go around, and we got 7 weeks left. So it's just kind of how far can we really get is kind of the question I'm wondering more than anything else at this point. Obviously, we've got Trevor's team, Jason's team, Russ's team. We bowled Trent tonight. Mm-hmm. The top 4 we have all bowled already, so that'll make it a little bit tougher. But it's kind of like, if we have a good end to the season, I think we could probably get to like 4th, 5th, somewhere in there, and I think that'd be an awesome result. But otherwise, I think it's just going to be kind of keep an eye out, like just kind of not necessarily treading water, but just try to minimize our damages and get as good of a second half result as we can. Realistically, is kind of how I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, I'm kind of more interested in just retaining the points lead on the entire season.
Yeah,
I think that'd be kind of cool to do, and so that's kind of what I'm looking at. And if we happen to fall into anything bigger than that, cool. But
yeah,
I would really have to hold on to the points lead.
Yes, no, I agree with that for sure. So we're at 519.5, and that's second.
Yeah,
Trent.
Trent's the next
Yeah,
closest.
Trent's the
So
next closest at
got them by
487. So
30.
got him by actually 32, which is a full week, and we bowled him tonight. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so this is actually kind of a really important night for that to happen. So if we can take a good whack of points against Trent's team, I think that'll help. But actually, it's a pretty good transition. So yeah, this week we're bowling. In my mind, at least, I've dubbed this as the happiest team in the league.
Yeah.
It's so Mike Hathaway, two-hander who likes to play really up the lane and throw kind of weak, shiny stuff. Matt Carpenter bowled for Baker, and
He was getting really good at bowling two-handed.
yeah, he had just switched to two-handed, I think, right before the start of last fall league season.
Yeah, right at the beginning of the season.
And yeah, and so he was definitely going through a lot of kind of finding his way, so to speak. And I mean, he's up 10 or 15 pins over where he was last year easily, and it's just kind of figuring out the tricks and kind of what his progressions are as much as anything else. And then Kevin just shot 800 last week, so I'm slightly concerned that Trent's going to make me bowl him tonight. But kind of laughing about that last week because I'm next on the hit list for Kevin apparently. So we'll see how that turns out. And then Trent was the team captain of the squad last year, so he's a motive staffer, fairly up the track type of guy, and Kevin's up the track as well. And there's no lefties on the pair, so I think that's.
Well, Mike's even kind of up the track too. I mean, he's
Oh yeah, sorry, I thought I said that already. Yeah.
Well, yeah, you did, but I was kind of going back to that. But yeah, even though he is a two-hander, yeah, he does kind of play it pretty straight. So they normally kind of walk things down the side.
Yeah.
So
which I think this team, as I'm thinking about, this team might actually be the toughest out in the entire league.
Yeah, they're kind of like we typically are. Like, I mean, they just don't make many mistakes. They just put that constant like 880 pressure on you the entire time. And so yeah, you just have to put big numbers up. Yeah. And the last time we bowled them, they had the sub in there that was the slow hook and lefty. And so they didn't really have their full squad.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Which I think from what Hathaway was saying, I think they're just going to be full regular roster tonight unless something crazy happens. So, and then on our side, unfortunately, Jaden had a loss in her extended family earlier this week, so she is not going to be there tonight. And so one of the kind of nuances of the absent rules for this league are if you miss 2 weeks in a row, you just get your absent score as your average. Then every week after that, you get 10 points less. So this is Jaden's third consecutive week of missing, unfortunately, because of sub situations and not having Matt available either. Yeah. And so we're actually getting Jaden at an absent 208 tonight. And then it'll be I'm probably just going to put up the same lineup tonight, realistically. Of Jaden, Noah, you, me, and just kind of hope for the best, realistically. Because it's going to be Mike and Matt on the top half, and it's just kind of I don't know that there's that much of a difference between them from a matchup perspective going against the 208 blind. Same for Noah, who's been a pretty steady, like really. Noah's honestly like been a really, really awesome 2-hole guy for us this year. I know it's not been the most incredible season for him, but like a 209 who's always going to keep fighting and is a tough out against pretty much anybody. You know, I can't ask for a whole lot more than that, I feel like. And so he's been really solid there. And then you and I matching up on the lower half against Trent and Kevin. I'm guessing they're going to pick Kevin on you and Trent.
Probably
is what I would expect. Yeah. So. Yeah, if you could shoot 800 tonight against Kevin, that would be awesome. Thanks. So, yeah, in terms of transition, so we are on 9 and 10 this week, which the highest scoring pair and pretty much has been for the entire season. Although 5 through 8 are pretty much about a pin behind that. We've had 2 really, really good weeks on this pair in the first half. Took 30 against Danny Bradley's team. and set what at the time was the high team 30 for the year. Until Stephen Keeler's team came in and said, not anymore. And then 22-10 with another strong 2,700 against Yuri's team back in week 13. A little more up and down for Trent's team. They've still shot well above pair average, but it's been a little closer to an even record for them. This is their fourth and final time seeing the pair this year. So got a little bit more history there. So realistically, 9 and 10 is the softest pair. It does tend to hook a decent amount on the right side, but that combined with it being a little warmer, I think it's going to kind of play to my advantage a little bit. I think the challenge for Noah is going to be that there's going to be a lot of traffic in his normal kind of track to right side of the track comfort area, and so I think making sure that he's staying on top of transition will be important. You're going to be all alone, which is, I think, probably going to be to your benefit, hopefully.
Yeah, I'll be fine tonight.
Yeah, exactly. And then for me, so what happened last time we bowled them was that 221 felt really bad because I threw it pretty dang well and had amazing ball reaction the first 2 games. I think I threw my top speed against them last time. And then just caught up to Matt's transition, which, I've gotten a little bit spoiled this year, I think, having 2 kind of up 10 and 2 up 10 players and a lefty where I haven't really had to think about a ton of rev rate on the right side of the lane, especially not rev rate the starting an arrow and a half left of me. And so that kind of caught me out last half when we bowled trans team. So that's something I'm going to have to pay a little bit more attention to, just kind of make sure that I'm not getting way behind it in terms of following Matt. So otherwise, I think it should be a fairly black and white of just kind of whoever shows up is going to win tonight. That's kind of how I'm thinking about it. But
yeah,
I think it will be, like I said, this is the happiest team in the league. I'm pretty well convinced at this point. So I think above all else, it's going to be a fun night of bowling, and hopefully that's a fun night that also involves us taking one points. That's kind of my thought going in. So, equipment wise, what's coming for you? I know you. Have you released videos for some of the new stuff you have drilled recently? I don't know.
No, but I've been. I had a drill stream, and I talked about it on I talked about it on like the live streams, and so if people have been watching the live streams, it's been a little treat or whatever for them. But yeah, the covert revolt's definitely coming tonight, and I would love to just put a hurting on the Motive guys team.
Yeah, because Trent is on staff with Motive.
He's been on staff for Motive with Motive for like 15 years. So.
Oh, really? So he's one of the OG
long time. Guys. Yeah. He's one of their. Wow. Yeah, he's been on with them a long time.
Nice. And then I know Hathaway's been throwing a lot of Motive stuff as well, and it actually fits his game pretty well. So yeah, put a hurting on the Motive guys team. I dig it.
Yeah. So that's going to come. The summit is going to be there.
The new one or the old one?
The new one. I still need the old one. Still got surface on it, and I need to reslug it. And then I'm thinking, Hater and the new Conspiracy.
Okay.
I can't really think of, or the 3.0 might have to be in there because that's another one that's kind of settling nicely into a. If I have nothing else, then I can throw that. It'll probably be fine. Type of roll. I know I'm going to have something. The shock. I'm kind of on the. I'm not so sure it's a Royal Crest house shot ball. I think it's one of those that if I have a look with it, I'm going to have the same look with the Summit, and it's going to be better. The shock I think is going to be a little bit more straighter angles. So when I don't have to play third arrow, if I can just kind of put it down the track area or put it down between first and second arrow. I think that's going to be a whole lot better for that one. But
that's fair. I think it will open up to where you can play a little straighter with the shock as it lane shines, realistically.
Yeah, but it's just
it won't be as much of a cover core mismatch as what you like. The shock has never. I've thrown several different shocks over the last 7 or 8 years. The Venom shock has never felt like a ball that wiggles with lane shine nearly as much as what I get out of like a Summit.
Yeah,
And so
no,
that might actually be a set as you get some games on and kind of let it lane shine. That might be a really good kind of offset piece
mhm.
almost.
Yeah, I'm just not sure that playing left of third arrow is really a Royal Crest thing,
Okay, that's
at
a fair
least not right
counterpoint.
now. Because I mean,
Yeah,
Rob has been playing third arrow,
yeah,
and I've got twice his rev rate, and I still don't have a whole lot of revs. So
that is a fair counterpoint.
I think I'm kind of trapped into third arrow just to get it through the pins right. I mean, get it down the
Yeah,
lane and hit the pocket from second arrow, but it's not going to carry.
you're gonna get tapped so much doing that. It makes sense.
So yeah, I think it's probably going to be covert revolt, uh, summit, and then the conspiracy and the hater. But the 3.0, I should probably bring the 3.0 instead of the conspiracy because of the hater. I think is the right. It's in it. It hooks about as much as the ultimate defender. It's a little smoother down. It's a little easier down
Yeah,
the lane, a little smoother even. So I think that will actually fit the house shot. I think the conspiracy. I just like the shape of it so much that I want to bring it, and it's just going to hook too much. So I
yeah.
should probably just leave that at home. I'm going to take it this weekend.
Okay.
But yeah, probably Summit, Revolt, Hater, and 3.0 is what I should just stick with.
Yeah, seems to make a whole lot of sense. Um, for my part, I think I'm just going to be rolling back the exact same bag I took last week, which was 3.0 Theorem, NV Tour, and my Hustle Camo.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, a spare ball. So nothing crazy whatsoever. And the plan is just going to be throw the 3.0 until I have very clear indications I should. Um, apparently, that is just a god ball in Royal Crest right now for me.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I'm averaging like 265 the first two games combined the last 2 weeks with it. So
Yeah.
I guess if it's working, just keep going at it. So yeah, nothing crazy at all. And then obviously you've got Southwest coming up this weekend, which I will be streaming that over on my channel.
Mm-hmm.
Look up Shinwrecker Enterprises on YouTube, and I'll have those streams. Gonna try and get those scheduled later today, but we bowl team at 1:30 and 6:30, I believe, local time.
Mm-hmm.
1:30 and 6 or 1:30, 6:30, I forget which. But afternoon and evening on Saturday for our two team sets, which we will be on the same pair for both of them, bowling on the same team for one of them. And then Sunday, I'm not sure if we're on the same pair or not, but we bowl double singles at 8:30 a.m. Justin, the theorem, it's actually an interesting question. I haven't been throwing either of my top speeds very much recently. I've kind of gotten pushed to the side a little bit, I guess. I've kind of been changing out some stuff in my bag, making a little bit more centric, a little more built around what I need to see on tougher patterns. And so the Emerge Hybrid has been my like really strong but still smoothish, shiny ASIM of choice. I think the theorem is a little bit easier through the first 35 to 40 feet, a little more responsive and definitely more angle change, I guess, for lack of a better term. But I'd say probably slightly weaker to similar total package
Mm-hmm.
in terms of like traction plus board coverage plus friction response all rolled into one. I think it's probably the best way I could say it. The theorem is better from left, I think, is the bigger thing, and that's part of why I've been liking it. Is the 3.0 actually feels like just a little bit smoother top speed,
Mm-hmm.
and so I've been using the 3.0 more recently, kind of in a similar way to how I used to use a top speed. And then once that goes away, I can just kind of keep chasing a left and get into my theorem, and I'm off to the races. That's kind of I hope that makes sense, Justin. It's been a little bit of just kind of a subtle evolution in how my bag is structured, but that's kind of how I've been using it. And Andrew, Case of Theorems will definitely be happening if I win the combine at Southwest again, but otherwise I probably do need to order at least a backup. But, yeah. So, yeah. That's pretty much all I can think of. I don't know if you had anything else to say or if we can just get out of here because I know I've got a lot of stuff to get done before we get on the road tomorrow.
Yeah, I've got to put together a few videos here because we're going to be gone for the next week. So we're going to go to Southwest, and as soon as we get back, we're going to turn right back around and head somewhere else. And so we're going to be gone for a week. So I've got to get some videos in the queue.
Makes sense. And then that is a good reminder that so next week for week 29, we are bowling Jay Fattrell's team. Luke and I are both not going to be there because we are going over to the East Coast for a wedding next weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So there will not be unless you want to do it live. I don't know. We'll have a whole lot to talk about. I guess there won't be a recap show next week for week 28 recap, week 29 preview. And so then our week 28 recap and week 30 preview will be 2 weeks from today. So thanks, Justin. Appreciate it. Yeah, and the Endeavor, that ball hooks so much. That ball terrifies me.
Yeah, I'm probably going to bring that to Southwest too, just because the back ends are normally a little slower. I almost drilled a fresh Synergy, but I kind of need the edge off of it. Drilling something fresh for kind of what I wanted to use it for as kind of like a weaker. The idea is something like my Volt Pearl had been, just kind of half dead and just kind of spin and kind of walk in. A high gain Tornado Pearl lane shine looks pretty good down there on the left side at Southwest too. I just don't have anything that's kind of in that older zone, so I think probably what I'm going to do is the Endeavor's a little crispy, but it is still.
I know what you should do.
Yeah,
crush your NV Tour with a 4,000 pin. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, well, I'm sure, but it's just gonna be way too strong. I'm looking for something like
it. I think it'll be closer than you think.
Yeah.
Rock, paper, scissors for it.
Well, again, I'm looking for something like Volt Pearl, like R2F Pearl cover, like very, very weak cover and dead.
Okay, I'm
not necessarily looking for the shape. I'm looking for the strength. So
freaking lefties, man.
Yeah, and I'd take my Ruby, but I need something with more differential.
Yeah, that makes sense. Does your reslug the Volt Pro and see how that goes? Maybe
it's dead. It's already gone.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah, it died.
Never mind then.
Over the summer, because I threw it a couple times in the scratch league, and it just there's a difference. It's a difference between mostly dead and all dead.
Yeah, so it goes. But yeah, got some videos coming on my channel this weekend for Southwest, and I'll have to figure out at least one more time for us to do a commentary video from scratch league before the season is done. Maybe against Trevor's team if it works out. So that might be a fun one. So, anywho, I guess until 2 weeks from now.
Yeah. Peace.
Adios, y'all.
Peace out, moron.
Yikes.
Cruel intentions.
All right.